Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our program Development Talks. Today we are hosting the 23rd episodes of Development Talks. Last 2 years in this program, we are continuously discussing dynamics, different aspects, good practices, and impacts of development and highlighting the roles and contributions of international NGOs, bilateral and multilateral agencies across Bangladesh. I am Fayazuddin Ahmed and you are watching Clio television, the first online development television in Bangladesh. This evening, we will be talking about the role and contributions of WaterAid Bangladesh in WASH sector in Bangladesh. For discussing the topic, today we have with us Ms. Hasin Jahan, Country Director, WaterAid Bangladesh. Good evening, madam, and welcome to the Development Talks.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Fine. Thank you so much.
Okay. We know that you have been working in the development sector for a long time, and we'd like to know that what prompted you to come into this sector and started to working. If you kindly share the story with us.
Okay. Let me begin. Basically, I am a civil engineer and I passed from BUET.
Okay.
And later I had my master's degree in water and environmental management from VEDEC, University of Loughborough.
Okay.
I started my career with LGD and after completion of my master's, I realized that technology is the easiest part of the whole game,
right?
And approach and people are most important.
Indeed.
And then I switched my job and then I started working for the development sector from then on.
Okay. So how was the journey, and with which organizations you have worked, and how was the experience so far?
Okay, it was a long journey and still I am continuing my journey. So I started my career with the local government engineering department, LGD. Then I moved to the World Bank and the WSP World Bank, the then WSP World Bank. Okay. In fact, at that time I was posted or deputed to ITN BUET right now, which is an independent, a self-sustained organization, training organization. So I was there together with my colleagues with the aim to develop that international training network center for developing WASH professionals. And then I moved to Danida, the then one of the largest project, coastal belt project. So I was there along with few other colleagues to work on that project. And then I moved to WaterAid. And as the director of programs, and I continued my journey and I took over the responsibility of the advocacy portfolio. But then I moved to practical action as the country director, and after that again went back to WaterAid as the country director. So that's my journey.
So you have experienced both the private and public sector. And
I would say government. And academic institutes, because I had to work with BUET, and I had to work with the curricula and other things of as well, and also the development partners.
Indeed. So, how do you see the role and contribution of WaterAid? If I come to WaterAid now, especially in WASH sector in Bangladesh, and which areas do you see that you have attained some successes and made some impacts?
WaterAid is working in Bangladesh since 1986, and we are working in the urban sector from 97, and we actually work through our partner NGOs, and we started our work with working with the partner work in rural areas, and in urban areas our partner was DSK at the beginning, and now the partner base actually expanded, and it's more than 20, and we are working in both the fronts. One is the field, that is we are implementing WASH infrastructure and technologies with different approaches trying out, and at the same time we are very strongly advocating for policy advocacy,
Okay.
policies, and supporting the government in updating different policies and bringing new dimension in the policies and so on.
Okay.
And communication is something cross-cutting, and we are also doing that same
Okay.
for the benefit of the people. And so far we reached almost 31 lakh population with water, and 97 lakh population with sanitation and hygiene promotion.
Excellent.
Since beginning.
Okay. Any of the major policy changes that you managed to achieve?
Absolutely. Let me share with our recent success, the National Water and Sanitation Policy 2021.
Okay.
That has been approved very recently, a few months back, and Water Aid Act as the member secretary of this updating the whole process and document. And right now we are working on the hygiene promotion strategy, the national hygiene promotion strategy. We are updating it, aligning SDG 6 as well as how to address pandemic situation like COVID and many more to come. So we are working on that along with another strategy on public toilet operation and maintenance. So these two are in our hands right now. And of course the water supply and sanitation strategy. So another to add. So these three.
As you have worked both at the field level and as well as at the policy level. So if I ask you about the three major learnings, because I think these two have two different kind of challenges, experiences. So if you highlight the key learnings working with at the policy and also the field level.
The key learning from my end would be that it is very important when you will work on policy aspect. It is very important to have the proper understanding at the root level.
Exactly.
So what is happening?
Exactly.
If you don't know, you cannot actually reflect that in the national level policies. So that was the strength of Water Aid, and I believe that helped our field level implementation, actually helped us to translate these policies, translate the
experience
need of the people into the policies.
Right. We also know that in Bangladesh we have number of policies and laws, but when it comes to implementation, it's really tough. So, what kind of strategy you are thinking about, and Water Aid and other partners are taking to make sure that the policy that you managed to adopt last year and the strategy that are coming, what kind of strategy you would put in action to make sure that those are implemented?
Okay, thank you for asking this question, because this is very important. But where to this is I must appreciate that Bangladesh government has such robust policies.
Right.
So that is the starting point.
Exactly.
And then when you will be implementing, even if you cannot implement to the full scale, you have your target to achieve. If you don't have the target, if you don't see the vision, you will not plan your activities in that fashion.
Of course.
Let me give a specific example how this worked. We supported the development of and updating of the national pro-poor strategy. And that particular strategy reflects that hardcore poor people should be subsidized for water and sanitation services. And very recently, DPHE got a project supported by the World Bank, and that project actually reflected the clauses from the policy, and now people are getting subsidized or full subsidy in sanitation or so on. So it's not right that it is not being implemented. It is being implemented, but the extent might differ. And policy support branch of Bangladesh, so they are basically supporting rolling out of this strategy at different level.
Great.
And UNICEF is also supporting through their extending their fund through PSB and others.
Excellent. As you talked about the target, we all know that Bangladesh is an important partner of Sustainable Development Goal, SDG. And so if we come to SDG 6, according to you, what are the overall progress so far that Bangladesh has managed to meet regarding SDG 6?
So Bangladesh is to some extent doing really good in terms of achieving SDG 6. There are issues like we are yet to deal with the quality aspects. So if you look at the GMP figures, we are very much on track related to achieving basic level of water and sanitation.
Okay.
For example, in water we have 97-98% coverage or something like that at basic level. But when it comes to safely managed water or safely managed sanitation, we are still lagging behind.
Right.
So now our main emphasis should be to attain that, I mean the quality aspect, so that we can touch upon this SDG achievement properly.
Okay, so as you already have mentioned one of the challenges, so in general, what are the major challenges and side by side also the opportunities as you work, and you and what I work closely with the local people at the grassroots level. So if we talk about the whole scenario in Bangladesh about water and sanitation and management of water at different level, especially in the grassroots and hard to reach areas. So what are the challenges that you could see that are still there and upcoming, and the opportunities as well?
Okay, I think you put a big question for me, and if I have to really answer this question, it will take a lot of time. Let me make a shortcut.
Okay, yeah.
The first challenge I see is the climate change.
Right.
So whatever infrastructure we are building, whether those are climate resilient or not, that is a question.
Right.
Let me give a specific example that climate change, the immediate reflection of climate change is being seen by frequent disaster. So the normal infrastructure can be damaged, and if I want to put disaster resilient infrastructure, that will cost high. But if we really put it at the first place,
Right.
then I can save or I can make a return of investment. By investing $1, we can get return of $5. So that came up one of our recent study. So this is something related to climate change. That means that you need more investment in climate to make climate resilient infrastructure. So that is one area,
Right.
or one issue. The second important issue is the quality of water. If you look at the situation in coastal belt, all the water are saline. So it's really, you need a suitable technology for that.
Okay.
So that often we are relying on reverse osmosis, which is not environmental friendly. On the other hand, we don't have any alternative and it's high cost. So what to do? So we need to figure out the solution. And not only that, if we look at the Rajshahi belt or somewhere in that place, there are water table is going down, and there are other issues like water pollutions and so on. So we need to work in many fronts to address this question, address this situation, and to achieve SDG 6.
Okay. Any kind of policy barrier that you see that making these challenges much difficult? Or
I can say one policy barrier for sure. That is, if you look at the policies related to water sanitation, hygiene, those are robust. But in those policy, you will not find many clauses related to having proper actions for addressing climate change. So there is a loophole here. At the same time, when you look at the policies related to climate change elements, you will not find the wash element over there.
So this too has to be synchronized.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So taking cognizance of these challenges, if we come to water aid again and say and SDG 6, so what are the future plan of water aid, so that Bangladesh could attain all the indicators under SDG 6?
The first thing we are trying that to ingrain climate change into WASH. So
Right.
that is our immediate aim, and we are very much on board to understand nature-based solutions and climate resilient options, and how we can integrate into our system, into our plug-in, into the interventions, so that we can have proper infrastructures in place,
Right.
and approaches to make those functional, including WNM models and so on, and most importantly engaging the people with the technologies and approaches, so that we can reach to the hard to reach people first, and then support this SDG goal achievement,
Right.
and leaving no one behind.
And what do you think the development partners and other national and international NGOs who are working in this field, how think WaterAid could collaborate with these partners?
Okay, WaterAid thinks, and that typical mode of coming grants or implementing things may not work in the long run.
That's true.
So we are also trying to work differently, like introducing microcredit together with WASH as a bundle.
Okay.
And we are thinking of, and we are exploring through some pilots to engage the private sector into the system, so that we can work in multiple fronts to understand better and advanced level WASH in the coming days.
Okay, and this way the actions that you had been taking could sustain, for the longer term.
Absolutely, that is one of our objectives for having sustainable WASH services and technologies for the people.
Okay, and you also mentioned earlier that Water is closely working with the people at the grassroots. Any specific example you want to share with us which would portray that the participatory approaches that you implement in the field, so that
Absolutely.
people do things themselves?
Absolutely. The first thing, all our approaches are participatory approaches, but let me give you a specific example of women empowerment, which might be more interesting. So we introduced a model called We. That is, to explain it in a simple language, we form a very tiny group of female group entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We call it WASH entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So they are managing the reverse osmosis system of their own community, and technically they are managing and providing services to them, and they are making profit out of it. So they make a small business out of this.
Okay.
So we are supporting them with leadership skill and management skill, so that they can run, and they are kind of more empowered now. And there is not only one group. It's a number of groups who are handling this reverse osmosis at ground level, and we believe that WE model will be a very good one that demonstrates women leadership and WASH business.
Indeed, that's a kind of unique model that you are creating. I believe that after listening to this, other organizations would try to, replicate this model in their areas.
Happy to support them.
Okay, let's come back to you again, madam. And you were saying that the long experience that you had. So, if we talk about your future plans, so where do you see in the coming years yourself? In the same role, in the same sector, or you have some other visions in your mind?
Okay, I told my journey to you, but I felt that I made my journey and came to a position where I am heading an organization at this moment.
Right.
But I have throughout the last 25 years, I haven't seen many women are coming into my position or similar position. So women are always lagging behind. Women professionals, I mean.
Okay.
So one of my interest is to support these women professionals through mentoring, coaching, or whatever possible. So with this aspiration, actually I recently wrote a book on Me Tumi Tomar Moto Hao, like be yourself, something like this, the meaning. It means that through that book, I wanted to communicate my journey to the other women, professionals, so that they understand how to deal with different issues, be that professional issues, be that personal issues in life, and how to excel and how to go for self-development, how to invest for self-development and come to the leadership position. So that is my vision, and I will be happy to support women professionals and of course male professionals if they wish to excel.
Okay, that's great, Appa. Thank you so much. We learned so much from you, and I believe our viewers would definitely be benefited from the experience that you shared with us. We know that you also work with menstrual hygiene and those issues. So if you could share your experience and what could be done better in Bangladesh, if you share with us.
Again, you pose a very big question to me, and it might take long time. So let me cut the story short. Menstrual hygiene is a public health concern. So this is something we need to ingrain in WASH, which we did.
Right.
And the journey of menstrual hygiene management started back in 2000 within WaterAid. And since then we are working on menstrual hygiene management together with other sector actors. And UNICEF played a very strong role here. BRAC published the first a paper on that, which actually ignited us to work on this. So far I remember, NGO Forum prepared the first ever material on menstrual hygiene management. So I believe that this is something where the sector actually contributed and it started getting momentum from 2003 onward. And SIMA, we played a good role, but they are more aligned towards promoting it as from sexual and reproductive health perspective. And we, UNICEF, WaterAid, we actually tried to promote it from the perspective of, infrastructure and approaches. And later on we blend together through forming menstrual hygiene management platform, MHM platform. And this platform and all stakeholders worked together for long. And in 2014, there was the first hygiene promotion survey, baseline survey. In that baseline survey, it came up that 40% students are missing 3 days per month. So that was the starting point for which we actually lobbied with the Ministry of Education for obtaining a circular, and which came up describing that each school should have MHM friendly facilities. And later we actually seen in the next hygiene survey in 2018 that 50% adolescents girls are using pad and rest are now not. So we thought that this is something that will help the women and girls, and from rights perspective. So considering the rights perspective, we thought that there should be no VAT and tax, and we continuously lobbied with the government, NBR, and of course Clio TV also helped us. So we had a 2-stage thing. The first stage in 2019, if I am correct, SRO has been published, a circular had been published from NBR for after withdrawing or repelling
the taxes,
VAT tax from 6 raw materials. But that didn't make any impact in the market. And later we take the help of Clio TV and went for social mobilization campaign in a mass scale. And we engaged the parliamentarians and so on, different experts and different development organizations, and Clio TV played a very strong role in supporting us. Us means WaterAid, MHM platform, and others.
Okay.
And finally, and also the NBR, we lobbied with them.
Of course.
And finally, in 2021, the government actually repealed VAT from any locally produced sanitary napkins. That's a big achievement.
Exactly.
And the last achievement, I would say that in 2021, the menstrual hygiene management strategy, the national strategy, that has been approved.
Okay, okay.
So this is another milestone that we.
So any other, the achievement that you mentioned about the removing the VAT and tax to any locally produced sanitary pads. Are there any similar kind of campaign going on which the citizen could be aware of and be a part of it? Any plan in your mind that in the coming years? From the MHM platform and you.
I mean, MHM platform will be sitting in a meeting very soon, and we might think of our next steps. What now?
Okay.
So we have able to get the VAT waiver, but does it make any impact in the market or people? So we'll have a look into that, and then our next strategy will be decided.
Okay, thank you, Appa. So dear viewers, integration and implementation of the global goal at national level can only be delivered and active participation from government, civil society and other organizations who are working with that goal. And WaterAid, as we already have heard from Ms. Hasin Jahan, that has been playing a key role in supporting and working with the government as a leading expert partner. WaterAid is also working with civil society organizations, sector platforms and networks in different academic institutes, along with the government so that we attain the goal SDG 6. And the SDG 6 could only be attained when we all together, not only the private sector, the public sector, the academicians and the citizens at large, when we all collaborate and make it happen. So with this now, I again Faizuddin Ahmed closing this interesting episode of Development Talks. We will come back to you again with this program with a new episode and new guest speaker. Till then, keep safe and healthy, and please wear mask and follow the protocols that had been announced by our government to remain safe and secure. Thank you. Good night.